I'll admit that facial damage is not everything when it comes to judging a boxing fight, and that should be obvious. There's a million things that could have happened in the fight that, despite facial damage, if one fighter has the marking of a guy who got beat up, and the other one doesn't, it doesn't necessarily mean he lost the fight. I mean, obviously, there's one way. You could get a guy like Arturo Gatti, who's had both eyes closed in a fight, and knock the other guy out. I think his name was Wilson Rodriguez. You guys could go check out that fight. I think that's his name. If somebody knows. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure someone will correct me. But yeah, a guy like Wilson Rodriguez, I'm just gonna call him that for now, did a lot of damage to Arturo Gatti early and then got knocked out. All right, I think in the 6th round. I mean, both his eyes were closed. Had that fight gone 12 rounds and they were both getting their licks in, you would have looked at Arturo Gatti's face and say, damn, when it came to punching, looks like you got the worst of it. Looks like, the other guy was more effective. At least when it comes to your, facial damage. Right? So I would agree with that. Facial damage does not tell the whole story. Golovkin and Derevyanchenko was a tough fight. It was a lot of back and forth action. Really, there wasn't no one who was clearly in charge of, controlling the center of the ring. It kind of went back and forth action, right? Maybe you can say, well, I disagree, and say Derevyanchenko looked like he was in control of most of those rounds in terms of ring generalship. Fine, you could say that. But when it comes to clean and effective punches, that should be obvious who's winning that battle, right? Golovkin was winning that battle. Golovkin scored a knockdown, cut Derevyanchenko with a punch, not a headbutt. That was a punch. I heard the referee change that to a headbutt. There was some strange shit happening in New York. One of the strange shit was, well, strange for me at least. I wasn't able to get the seats that I usually get, because I don't like going to a live boxing fight where, I'm gonna be sitting on the upper level. For that, I'd rather be home, watching it on TV. Right? I'm not trying to, I'm not a stuck-up person, but, look, I could, the hookups that I have, I could get front row seats, but for some reason I couldn't get any for this fight. It's okay. I still went. Had my brother in town, had my nephew in town, so why not? Let's go do this. They wanted to go live, so I said, fuck it, let's go. So scoring it live was a little hard. When I got home, it was still a tough fight, but I definitely understand why Golovkin won this fight. There's a lot of back and forth action. A 6-6 kind of fight. I can see. It was 7-5 either way. I can see that. But for me, there was, the facial damage told the story of the fight. This was a close, competitive fight, and the guy with the cleaner and effective punches won, Golovkin. So yeah, I do admit, and this is for boxing style, I do admit that facial damage is not everything. But sometimes it does tell you what happened in the fight. It tells you who was the clean an effective puncher in the fight. Assuming that all the damage was done by fist, not by headbutts, which is clearly the case, what happened to Derevyanchenko. And for whatever reason, the referee called it a headbutt, but that was a punch for anybody with eyes to see. So the guy who landed the cleaner and effective punches won this fight. That's why sometimes it does matter. Boxing style. Peace.